Welcome back, everyone, to another And Now for Something Horrible. So today we're talking about arthropods, but we're not specifically talking about insects. These are a type of myriapod, so myriapod. These are called Symphyla, and they are related roughly to like the centipedes. That's probably their closest relations, but the group itself are called the Symphyla. And they're very, very small centipede or millipede-like creatures, frequently called garden centipedes, that you can find just in the soil around your house or in your backyard. Very, very small, and they're very, very strange creatures in that they don't, other than being very, very small and very, very clear, so you can kind of see through them with a microscope, they breathe through the sides of their head. They have holes on either side of their head, kind of like a tracheal system. That they used to breathe, which is very different than how like spiders and their relatives breathe, or how breathe, or how insects breathe, which insects usually have the trachea back on their body, or crustaceans, which usually have gills. They breathe in this very, very strange way. But even more interesting is the way that they reproduce. And you may be noticing a theme when I talk about arthropod reproduction, because they reproduce in very, very strange ways. I've talked about bed bugs, for instance, earlier on this channel, that they have a genital tract, but they don't use it. The male just tears a hole in the side of the female body and mates with her bloodstream that way. It's very strange. That isn't what these guys do, although they do have a genital tract, and they don't use it. So their genital tract is usually somewhere on the fourth segment, so it would be on the underside here, the genital opening. But the females don't use it for anything, and the males aren't interested in it for the most part. So what the males do is this is not a Symphyla, this is a Sminthurid, which is a type of Sminthurid, which is a type of collembolin, but they do something similar with these spermatophores, and that this is the spermatophore. And what the male does is he will lay a packet of sperm, he will secrete this packet of sperm, and he spins a silk thread, and he deposits this packet of sperm onto the top of it, and he will deposit a bunch of them, and then kind of lure females over to him. And this occurs frequently with more of the primitive arthropods, that they'll lay spermatophores or they'll form spermatheca, things like that, where the mating occurs externally instead of internally. And they frequently will, just insects in general, or arthropods in general that do this, will lay these spermatophores, and they will sometimes entice females either with a mating ritual, or they will lay, or not lay, but they will gather up a block of or a droplet of sugar and salt to kind of entice the female over. As like, these are frequently referred to as nuptial gifts. Whereas like, oh, I know that females need a lot of nutrients to be able to form eggs, so here's a packet of sugar and salt, or a packet of fat and salt, so that you have enough energy to make vitellogenin and lay eggs. But that's not what these Symphyla do. So what the Symphyla do is they create these spermatophores, and they lay them on a silk stalk, and then they entice the females over. So normally what happens in insects that do this is the female will take the spermatophore and deposit it into her reproductive tract. So she'll maneuver herself over it and deposit the spermatophore into her reproductive tract in order to fertilize her own eggs, and then she'll go lay eggs. That is not what the Symphyla do. What the female Symphyla does is, instead of doing any of that, she finds the stalk with the spermatophore on it, and she sucks it into her mouth. So she sucks up all the sperm, and she stores it in the sides of her mouth. She has little pockets in the side of her mouth, and she just sucks it all up into her mouth, and so she has these big mouth pockets full of sperm, and she'll fill those pockets with various sperm. So then, how does she reproduce? Because what you might be thinking is this somehow migrates from her digestive tract into her reproductive tract, and that is not what happens. Or maybe she fertilizes herself. That's not what happens. Instead, she walks around and she looks for places to lay eggs, and she will lay her eggs on various rocks or crevices or whatever, and she lays them in little groups, and then she regurgitates, she spits all of this sperm and smears it all over the eggs as she's laying them. And that's how they reproduce. So she fertilizes her own eggs from some male sperm that she holds in her mouth and that she kind of regurgitates or vomits or spits up all over the eggs and smears it around. And that is how this entire group, Symphyla are like 200 species, known species. There's probably more in the tropics. But all of these Symphyla do this, and that's how they've managed to survive all of these eons. And it's really disgusting. And so you might think the reproductive process is messy, but at least it's not like this. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye.